Tom wrote a book, and he wants you all to buy it. The name of the book is The Djinn Chronicles Volume 1 Growth. It's part 1 of a trilogy. It's available on Amazon. Go read it.
Don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
Hello there everyone, Tom here again, and today we have the privilege of taking a look at the is this TFC? Yes, TFC Toys, part 2 of their Satan combiner. This is Mammon. So, front of the box, top of the box, side of the box, back of the box, side of the box, and bottom of the box. Why don't we pause it right here for just a moment, and we will get him out of the box. Alright, so we get a pack of instructions and things. I love these foam inserts. I love them. I know some people don't care about packaging. I am not one of those people. We get this gun here. It's done in blue plastic with red highlights. Interesting because you can see where they've painted it and then they didn't paint it. Interesting. Yes, indeedy do. We get another combiner mode foot, which looks exactly like the one from Astaroth. And the piece de resistance, the figure itself. And that's all there is in the foam. So I'm going to set it and the foot aside for now. And let's take us a look here at the figure. He comes packaged just as you saw. Didn't do a thing to him. Initial impression, he's got nice heft. I don't feel any die cast. That's plastic. Yeah. Alright, so tell you what I'm going to do here, folks. I'm going to pause for just a minute, and I'm going to get him into his official robot mode. So I think I've got him in the correct mode. It did take a while, and it was almost as if he was half transformed. The directions did not really share with me how to get him into robot mode. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. I did what I could. In this mode, he's coming in at approximately 6 3/4 inches, shoulder to shoulder. We're looking at about 3.5. Depth-wise, he is a pardon me. He's quite thick, 4 inches. Now, when we compare him to, he's also very back heavy. When we compare him to Astaroth, who is also back heavy, you can see that they go together. He's far shinier than Astaroth is, though. Just something to notice. He does have light piping. So let's see if I can get those lit up here for you. Oh yeah, nice and bright. Articulation. His head can go all the way around. It's on a ball peg. Up, down, wiggle, waggle. Shoulders are on a soft ratchet. They can go all the way up to there. And they have this hinge here, which is unsightly, but it does work sort of as a butterfly. You get, I really wish that would lock in. You get upper arm rotation right here, over 90 degree of elbow bend. The hands rotate all the way around, and the fingers opened on the other one. They've got the joint. Yeah, they open here too. And let's see. Hopefully he can hold his weapon. Excuse me. Yes. Although you see that joint isn't quite as tight as I would prefer. What about this one over here? Much better. Much better. Okay. Waist articulation. He does have some. It does get hindered by not this, but this stuff back here. Ab crunch. No ab crunch. Also, this thing doesn't plug in. I may not have done it right, fully grant that, but it doesn't plug in the way that I think it should. He has hip skirts here. Get up and out of the way, and his whole crotch will get up and out of the way, which I'm sure is very convenient at times. Legs can go that far forward, that far back before they hit the backpack. There are no outer skirts, so he can, holy crap, he can more than do the Chinese splits. Soft ratchets, thigh swivel built around this joint. Knees that far, and the feet are on a rocker. They can go way forward, some back, and like I said, they've got a rocker to there. I think this is this guy. I'll check again just to make sure that I've got it in the way it's supposed to go. Honestly, I'm worried about this because this is quite unsightly. It looks much better from this end, but yeah. Let me just see here. His hip skirts are here. Well, this might make a bit of a difference here, folks. Let me just see. Actually, that's a lot better. That still won't help keep that in place, though. Alright, so yeah, I like that a little bit better. His legs are better off that way. Let's see if we can get a better waist. Not really. Not really. Okay. So here he is in his robot mode. I think it's time for some scale comparisons, and man, stand up. Scale comparisons, and we'll go from there. So transforming old Mammon here isn't all that difficult, but before we, pardon me, before we get into it, I have to point this out. This is a part that goes right in here. It clips around a couple of places, and it forms part of a collar. Now, as you can see, mine is quite broken. It's just waiting to fall off. This is a stress point because the stuff in here is so difficult to get out. I pulled on it. I admit it. I did it. The problem is that I don't see how they could have fixed this without us using this as a pull. I take my spudger and I open it up, but still, this is a problem. This is a good example where a piece of die cast would have made a huge difference. This little piece of plastic's not going to do it. I'll contact TF Source and see if they might have a spare, but this is just sad. It's really sad. I transformed it because I wanted to make sure I could do it properly for you all, and this was the result. So, yeah. Alright. So, we're going to set this piece aside, and we're going to focus here on the figure. Got to tell you, this just kind of makes me sad. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is open this up. And the first time or two I opened this, it was very, very difficult. So just be mindful of that. Tuck the hand in, pardon me. The forearm here will slide in, as you can see. And then you just kind of bring everything down and in, and it will clip in just like that. Once again, open this up. He says, there we go. You can see the hinge here. Maneuver it so that it'll go in like that. Pull the fist down and close it off. Take your head, move these out of the way, and back kind of like this. They're on rotating hinges and ball joints. So there you go. And right in here is where that piece would have gone. It clips right over here, right like this. So that's something. Okay. Now the part here that got me is this purple section right here. I'm hoping you can see. My camera's not doing the way it's supposed to. This part right here has to come physically out. So I take a spudger and pop it in there. I think I grabbed hold of it and pulled, and that was what caused the problem. Push your head back into this cavity, and it's on a double hinge, so it'll go fine. And this would cover over right here is what would happen. But obviously that's not going to happen now. You got to push it back into place so that it snaps. Okay. Just leave the head where it is for right now. Pull your arms up just to get them out of the way. Take these and just pull those back to get those out of the way. Open this up. Is that right? Yeah, just kind of get it out of the way. What you're trying to do here is rotate your legs around. Pardon me. This will come down, and there's a pin right here and a port right here. Pop that in place, just like that. Now, go ahead at this time and bring your arms back, and there's a pin right here that's going to go into the chest port right here, just like this. And you need to try and make sure that those are in there. Now, also, this piece would keep all this separated right here, so just be mindful that I do not right now have one while I'm transforming this. You would have simply brought that piece down. Lift those up, bring out these little side flaps, pull out the feet, and rotate them around. This is on a sliding bar, so be mindful of that. We're going to mess with this here in a minute. Pull it up, rotate it around, pull out your sliding bar. Now, right here is a piece that moves. Bring it all the way down, and it will just kind of sit like this. Notice this one right here does not have this piece until you bring it up and in, like that. See how it works? And we just connect all this back together. Give it a nice little squeeze here, right there. Now, if you notice, there are double hinges here in the knees. These are going to become necessary because you're going to rotate this up while trying to keep all this out of the way, which I have to admit is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And then you bring this up again while maneuvering all this out of the way until it maneuvers itself up using those hinges, and it will, I don't know if mine will clip in anymore or not. See, that would help keep that separated if it was there, but it's not there, so I can't complain because I don't have it. Alright. This comes in and just sets right here behind the leg panel, just right there. And your leg here, just unfold it, unfurl it until it's where you want it, like that. Legs go in and out. Yeah, it's okay. Now, these things right here, if you notice, there is a divot right here. It's going to go around this piece right here. So these are tabbed together. Simply untab them. Move this all the way around while you're opening it up, and there is a pin right here and a port right there. So rotate it until this clips in place. Let's see if I can get that on camera. Okay. And then this little bit right here will plug in, if you can see it right there. It's not the securest connection, but it is a connection. Wash, rinse, repeat. Get that in there, and then push that down. Now, pull your arms down, extend them, and rotate. Extend, rotate. Open up your claws, like this. And the last thing we need to do for monster mode is rotate this head. And see, that would have been in there underneath. So just be mindful. Mine's broken. Actually, I think this comes down like this according to the pictures. So yeah. Okay, and here is TFC's blot in robot mode. I'm sorry, in monster mode. Now, he's coming in. Let's just measure him like this, just to be, that's 7 inches. Shoulder to shoulder, about 4. Depth-wise, let's call it 4. Height-wise, let's call it 5.5. Alright, why don't we zoom in here so we can take us a look at various different things on this figure. He has, that's translucent for an eye. It doesn't work very well. I think mostly because there's no light behind it. And these things right here are rather annoying. He does have a working mouth that opens, and he's got saw blades in there, so that's kind of neat. Teeth are painted. Really nice. I will say this saw blade's already popped out on me once, so just be mindful. Excuse me. The head is on a swivel and a ball joint, so you get good movement there. We get paint here, silver paint here, paint translucent. They really didn't skirt on the paint. They did fairly well with paint. Paint, translucence all throughout. Yeah, arm can go all the way around. It can go all the way out like that. Bicep rotation. Single jointed elbow gets you 90 degrees. There's no wrist swivel, at least not that I can tell, but these things are on ball pegs, so you can get them out to a very large degree, and you can get movement all the way out to right there with that one, and to there with that one. So highly, but if you notice, I did just pop it off while I was messing with it here, so something to keep in mind. There's no waist articulation. Hip flaps do move. I don't know if I've got those right or not, but it doesn't really matter. The legs, you can use that swing joint to get some extra movement, or you can leave it in and it's fine too. So legs get caught up in kibble, but aside from that, they move well. They do rotate, but it's on this interior joint, so you don't get a whole lot. The foot does move. It's got the same articulation as the robot foot, so yeah, I mean, it does fairly well. And that's this guy in beast mode. I suppose the next thing to do would be scale comparisons in this mode. I wonder if the gun here can attach somewhere. I didn't see it in the directions. I mean, I guess you could always shove it right there. That doesn't feel like it was meant for that. Although, to be fair, that doesn't feel right. Alright. Yeah, I can get him to stand. You just got to move his feet. Alright, so there he is, and let's do scale comparison. So to put all Mammon here into combined mode, you're going to need a couple of things. First of which is the foot, which I don't know if I covered this or not, but it breaks down into various different parts. It's 5.5 inches long, 3 inches wide, and let's go with 2 inches high. As I said, this thing breaks down into various parts. You get like a shield out of it. That's really kind of it. I will end up putting some non-stick stuff on it, just because. Okay. You're also going to need this, or at least I do. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this thing and turn it into a brick, effectively. First thing we do, pull the arms up, push them in. Arms up, push them in. Let's see here if I remember how to do this right. Kind of get these out of the way, extend the feet, open. You got to get this section here out, which is easier said than done. Pull it out here, like this. Alright, go ahead and pull the arms just kind of out of the way. Now, what we're going to do here is unhook this, go ahead and disassemble this. Now, for some reason it says we're supposed to take this bit here and swing it back in. I think it works better without it that way. So, I mean, I guess that's a, situational. Yours will vary. Do it however you want. I don't know. I think it works better that way. Gives you another locking point. Pull that up. Rotate this around until it actually does what it's supposed to do here, which is rotate all the way around. This is going to come down and secure your waist here. Now, there are clips right here that come up. If I got that right. You know what? I didn't have to rotate the waist. Man, I'm an idiot. Don't tell my wife I said that. I'll never hear the end of it. Let's see here. Yeah, because that's got to be pointing up. So, come undone, you. There we go. Alright. So forget that part about rotating the waist. Yeah, Tom's allowed to make a mistake. This is going to come up and it's got to sit right here. Huh. See, what happens is these two pieces come together and then they combine in and they set right here on top of this one so it can come down onto it. Now, what have you done wrong here, Tommy boy? Obviously you've done something incorrect. Alright folks, I'm an idiot. Don't tell my wife I said that. These things come together like this, okay? And this is what plugs into here. So basically take your legs, fold them up, remember to leave this part out, bring it in so that it comes over top of that joint there, like this, squeeze it together, once you get everything lined up the way it's supposed to go. Squeeze it together, squeeze it together. Then this bit, which I guess you all can see very well, this bit right here is going to come down, but it's got to be, these have got to be over top of this. So you got to make sure that when you're doing this, you keep them over top because they don't want to stay there while you're really trying to get it together. They will, but they're not very happy about it. Alright, rotate that until it clicks where it's supposed to. There we go, and that'll fit right in there like that. Now, as far as the shoulder guards, or these things, they just go in like this. This comes down like that. Rotate that until it kind of clips in there in the center. Alright, now for the feet. There are grooves right here that are going to plug in right here on both sides. Also, there is a port right here that this is going to plug into. So, that just plugs in like that. Then you rotate the foot, bring that down, bring it in, and it will plug into the top one. It's not always happy, but it will. And if you really don't want to do that, you can always plug it into the bottom one. Now, I'm going to pause this right here because of something that I've discovered. Pull those up and tuck them in. And that is, if we close this section up now, we won't be able to get the foot on. So make sure that it's orientated so that this is open and it slides on from the back. So just get on there, and it's a very secure connection. Just got to make sure that, yes, squeeze it a little bit, get it in there, and it'll stay right there. Bend that down. Now, as we were doing, we're going to tuck that section in right there. This foot is going to plug in right here. It will. I promise you, it will. At least on my copy, this is the least happy part. Let me demonstrate. I guarantee you it will go in there. See, this one will just plug right in like it was made for it, because, hey, it was. Alright, this one right here, it's just being persnickety. So, get it lined up, and if I didn't know better, I'd say that one was cut not right. There, it's in. Alright, rotate that down, and that's the bottom of the foot. Now the top of this is really easy, and this is where part of this would come into play, but obviously we don't have that part. We bring this down, take our head, raise it up, bring these around, unplug them, and they are going to plug together, just like this right here. Bring it down, and that's pretty much what happens with those. They just kind of sit there. I mean, even if you rotate them around, there's not really any place to plug them into, so they're just kind of there. Now, as far as this, but before we do that, my apologies. Open that up, and that is your combiner port right there. And looking at it, looks like it's just going to be a slide port. But you bring that down, and it just kind of sits there. Then you bring these in, and you put them together. This thing collapses back together. Make sure this is pushed in all the way. If it's not, your arms won't line up properly. See how mine are relatively straight together? That's the way it's supposed to go. Now, putting up our camera here, we rotate the head around, pull these things back, pretty much as far as they'll go. There's a proper way for it, and it involves rotating, see the hinge there? Rotating the hinge some way or another. I think it's like this. And then that comes in, and in and down. Cover that up. And here is the foot mode. And it's okay. I mean, it's a foot. It's a robot that turns into a foot. What do you expect? What do you want from me here, folks? It's a robot that turns into a foot. Let's see here. In this mode, it's standing approximately 6.5 inches. We already covered the width, although I guess if we want to get technical, it's 3.5. It's got nice heft to it. It's not really heavy or anything. Here it is next to Center Twin, and no, I don't have him put together, but that ought to give you a fairly decent idea as far as how high and tall this thing is. I don't really have a constructor where I can get to him, but I do suppose I could set Omega Supreme beside of him. Oh, alright, Omega. Here we go. So that should give you at least a general idea about what you're looking at here as far as size. He's much smaller than Omega's foot. And I don't know what that's going to, or leg, and I'm not sure exactly what that's going to translate to as far as height-wise. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. More Decepticons. Yep, more Decepticons. The hell is he? Why am I not in focus? There. Now I'm bigger than he is. You better focus on me. That's right, because I'm Nemesis Prime. I'm the best there ever was, never will be. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I am the man. Aren't you forgetting something? Oh yeah. Woo! The hell was going on with that? Anyway, final thoughts-wise, I'm adding a new category to my final thoughts, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But let's just go through the playability. Playability's fine. Things do have a tendency to pop off on this guy. Specifically, I'm looking at these little bits right here. They're just kind of tension, frictioned on there. I can't tell you the number of times they've just popped off on me while I was manipulating the thing. And they do that for a reason, because the way that you manipulate the leg to get it to work, it's in its best interest to pop off. The problem is if the dog finds it, then I won't ever have that piece again. The materials feel fine. It doesn't feel like cheap plastic. It feels fairly sturdy. I would like to see some die cast in it. Things like this wouldn't happen if this had been made out of die cast. I will say, once I got rid of this piece, the head locked in. So take that however you want to take it. He holds his weapon well. He's got plenty of paint. He's fine for a $100 figure. And that works me right into the price. $100. Can't really argue with that at all. So, yeah. Actually, I think it was less than 100, but anyway, it wasn't far off from 100. The fourth category being, if this was my first Transformer, how would it affect me? So from this point forward, instead of making recommendations or scales, you know, 1 to 10 or whatever, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to ask whether or not this was my first Transformer, first third party, whatever, if I would buy more based on it. The fact that it broke is extremely disconcerting, and it would put me off to some degree. Now, if I was looking at this after Astaroth, which I have, yes, I would continue to buy the set. If this was the very, very, very first thing that I had purchased, yeah, I think I'd still buy more, just based on the engineering alone, because this thing's really neat. It's a smaller scale combiner. It's going to fit in with the old Chug scale. So if you're going for an MP scale, it's not going to work. But I think it's stylized. It's not G1, but it's inspired by G1, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, if this was the first one I'd ever purchased, I would buy more. Anyway, hope that helps. This is Tom. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next review.
And thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Vitamin John. Operators are standing by.